At the lowest point in our journey with my husband's illness, the autoimmune disease colitis, it was a moment where I just couldn't believe this was happening in my life again, that I had struggled with a rare disease, and I felt like I was finally moving on in my life in this joy, and we had a new baby, and I was just a different person. And through that time, I felt pulled back. I felt like, oh, here we go again. Like, what is this going to look like? I can't believe like God would allow this. I went through a really hard season where I was mad. Like, I was so mad at God. I remember crying out to him at night when I could have a moment in between just taking care of Luke. And I was mad. I was like, Lord, like, why don't you just heal him already? Like, why are you allowing all of this pain? And during that time, you know, my days were full of making sure he ate enough, making sure he took his medicine, and writing it all down. Very, 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 very intense season. Taking him to the doctor, making sure, literally carrying him, and taking care of him like a child. He was literally either on the couch or in the bed, and it was so hard to watch. I think it was actually worse than when I was ill myself, was watching the one I love more than myself go through this hard time. And I was in a struggle of just being angry and exhausted. And I feel like I would cry out to God knowing he could heal him instantly, right? But he didn't. And almost seeing that sometimes when the Lord heals and he's in the process, sometimes it's slow. Sometimes he heals quickly and it's a miracle. I've had a lot of that. I've had quick miracles, but I've also had slow and grueling healing. And it's been years. It's taken years, and sometimes incremental healing. It's like just when you want to like, oh, I'm tired of this journey with autoimmune and colitis and him not having strength or energy. It's like, then he gets that much better. And it's been years of that incremental thing. So during that time, he couldn't really play with Jude very, very much. I know that wore on him. During that time, it broke my heart just seeing him so frail, seeing that he couldn't take care of himself, but that the honor that I got to give him in loving him and taking care of him during that time, I see fruit from that in our marriage, that I would not trade that time now, because we really grew as a couple during that time. I feel like it gave us deep, immeasurable love for each other, knowing that we have each other's backs, but also endurance. I feel like a lot of hard, difficult things when we're crying out to the God for healing and we're suffering, that really felt like a time of suffering for me, within myself and with just being in an environment of suffering, with him suffering every day. I feel like we were given strength. Like once you walk through, you get strength, you get gifts from hard, difficult things. And so I feel like this year has been a year of rejoicing, of a lot of things fulfilled, not only just in my life or in my my kids' life, but this year we finally heard the R word, which is awesome, remission. We've been literally praying for that. And it's kind of cool in the process because we have surrendered. So once we were like, you know, we started out mad. Come on, God, like heal him. And then I felt defeated for a while. And then I felt like strengthened in faith. And once my faith was strengthened and I trusted God with all of it and surrendered Luke, you know, as my husband, as my best friend, I felt like I acted more like, I know you'll heal him in your time. Like you will heal him in your time, and surrendered that. And it felt like I just stood in faith and trust. But that was after many years. It didn't start like that. And I'm thankful that the Lord chose this way to heal him, because it healed a lot more than just healing his body. It healed a lot of emotions. It strengthened our marriage. It strengthened our family. It touched many lives. So he had a bigger plan. But this year, once we heard the R word, remission, I literally just started crying. I just started crying in joy. Like, I've been waiting to hear that, like we knew he would heal him, but to actually have that come and happen, it just felt like Christmas. It felt like the biggest gift ever, just to know that he is healthy and he is strong and he operates in grace now, that our family is tighter than ever, that our love, our marriage vows have been tested through sickness and health. A lot of people don't walk through that until they're old and gray, and that we get to, as younger people, know that and know the intensity of that. And so I feel like now we walk in greater faith and in joy and celebration, just because of his complete full healing and the complete full healing that the Lord had in mind through the process of his colitis. During that time, I would like to say that Jesus was pulling me through that time, and he was, but not with hearing him very clearly, or I would like to say that, but that wouldn't be the truth during that season. During that season, I had a mentor in my life. Her name's Cindy, and she really met me in a place of brokenness. She has gone through a lot of trauma and healing in her life and addiction in her life, and she actually had colitis as well. So she actually came to our house when Luke was really sick and sat on the couch with me and just listened. And on days where I felt so completely broken, I could reach out to her and she wouldn't judge my brokenness or my process and my sadness through feeling like my husband wasn't there, that he was kind of vacant during that time because he was so sick. So she has just been a mentor in my life since I was like 19. So it's kind of crazy. And she's still a mentor in my life. I talk to her every day. But during that season, she showed me that it was going to be okay. Like, it was going to be okay. And that healing does happen, and to contend for it. So she was there the whole journey. I would say who I am now, I have endurance that I wouldn't have if I wouldn't have walked through that journey. I have strength that I didn't even know I had. That was kind of beckoned out of me during that season. I would say who I am now is I have joy. I have joy. I have true joy that just can't be shaken by just normal, probably minuscule problems. It's like once you've had some actually big problems, you have perspective. I think perspective is another thing I have now, that, hey, everyone's healthy and okay. So it's okay that the milk was just spilled on the floor. Like, that's not a big deal. Or things are canceled or don't go your way. I feel like there's we've built up a strength there